This has been, if you don't mind me saying, one of the most insane summers that I can remember being a Liverpool fan. And I want to talk all about it. Now, before I even get into it, I know what you're thinking. Andy, you look absolutely fantastic. That giant, scraggly beard and tropical shirt combo is really working for you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I turned 40 this week, so I think I'm entering my midlife crisis phase. So let's see where it goes. Anyway, that's not why you're here, is it? So it'd be insane enough if we just left it at we've replaced Trent with Frimpong. We brought in Kirkes, the worst kept secret in the history of football, and then 3, breaking the record, the British transfer fee record and Liverpool's record, to bring in Florian Wirtz. Fucking good in, still delighted about it. So even at that, it would be meant. In fact, even if none of that happened and Nunez just shaved his head, which he did, that in itself would be like, what a fucking insane summer this has been. But I want to talk all about, there's so much, like, it's literally, this video will be out of date within an hour because there's so much rumours happening. And I don't know who to believe. But I see Liverpool being linked with Isak, Ekatike, the other lad, and a few others. So I wanted to just talk about how likely I think they are, and just how my head is fucking spinning, to be honest with you. And I'm the biggest hypocrite of all, because all the last few summers I'm like, it's not all about signings, guys. We don't need to be doing what they're all doing. We're different. And then as soon as we start splashing the cash a bit, it's like, this is class. But let's talk Nunez for a minute. I had kind of made my peace with the fact that, like, okay, he's probably gone. Everyone seems to say he's gone. But he was waiting on Napoli to pull the trigger. Liverpool said, no, your fee's too low, you got to raise it up, you know. So then Napoli eventually, after a month of Nunez thinking he's going to Napoli, Napoli were like, actually, you're grand. We've signed this other lad, so all the best. So me, naturally, I don't know where you sit on the fence in terms of Nunez. Should he stay? Should he go? Do you like him? Are you done with him? But as soon as I heard Napoli deals off, I was like, so you're telling me there's a chance? Then he shaves his head. I'm like, okay, we've just had an all-timer season from a player who, by his standards, the season before, didn't have his best season. And now we're just gonna, like, I can't fathom how upset I will be if I see a shaved head Nunez doing the fucking business for any other team. You know, I'm not saying he's going to be our main man. I'm not saying have him as our main man, all right? I think we should actually take the number 9. I've been well vocal about taking the number 9 off him. Just take the shackles off him, you know what I mean? But honestly, when I see, barring Isak, who we'll get to, when I see the hunt for strikers at the minute, I'm like, we could do a lot worse. This strikers, if you remember last year, the big premium was on defensive midfielders. We just turned one of our players into the greatest defensive midfielder of all time, Ryan Gravenberch. But at the time, it was like Casado, it was Fernandez, it was, you know, Zubamendi, all these at hugely inflated prices because the demand was so low. When I see the premium on these strikers, like, I can't pronounce these guys' names. Like, I don't watch a lot of transfer stuff. I'm more just reading it. So half these players' names I can't even pronounce. Okay, this is the worst football channel on YouTube. But so Ekatike and the other lad, Arsenal are looking for Gyökeres. I've seen their highlights, and actually a great account on Twitter, 1947 Productions, had a great series of compilations of just various players and their last 40 shots. And I thought that was actually a really interesting way of actually looking at it, rather than just a YouTube highlight reel. Now, I shouldn't base all my opinions off that. I have seen other stuff too. But I mean, yeah, I would take them. But the prices, I mean, Ekatike is, am I pronouncing that right? I feel like I'm making a fool of myself. Anyway, like 80 million or something like that for a pretty bang average record. And I'm looking at Nunez, and I'm like, he knows the league. Sure, he had his worst season in a Liverpool shirt. But now things are changing. Like, obviously, tragically, we don't have Jota. Diaz, who we'll get to in a bit, looks like there might be something happening there. And then we've signed a new attacking midfielder, one of the best in the world, if not the best. So I'm just like, can he just loiter around? You know what I mean? And I'll close on this with Nunez and I'll move on to other players, I promise. Please, just give me one more season. Not with him as our main man. Just can he just go back to being the Chaos Emerald? That's what I missed more than his goals last year. Is just like, look what he's up to now. Like, oh, that mad bastard. I had very few that mad bastard last year, and I miss it. Speaking of hair, Big Gak doing Big Gak things, because he's probably the only man who I've ever known to bleach his hair and to look better for it. But he is also a viable option up front. Chiesa is also a viable option up front if he ever gets a bloody game. And I'll get to the Isak stuff now, but like, it's quite surreal. Even up to this point, Slot came in and he essentially just had to steer the ship. There was a big ship with LFC's crest on it, and the wheel was unattended. Slot just came in and was just like, okay. And then a few months later, someone's like, here's a coveted Premier League title. Slot's like, that's cool. It was like, oh, this transition's been fairly easy. Now it's hitting that there's backroom staff. Tafa's gone. Alisson's like best mate, goalkeeping coach, he's gone. There's a bunch of others. Queeve is gone. Kwanzaa's gone. Trent is gone. There's so much ins and outs that my head is spinning. I made a video on it already, but my head is spinning. But now we've got, I am going a mile a minute today. I'm sorry. But the club has gone through, and I don't want to be dramatic about this, but the biggest upheaval in the history of football. Not really, but for us in the last few years, for sure. It's because we famously do very little in the transfer market as of late, but it's like we were just waiting. You know the way Liverpool are great, you're just waiting to find their man. It was like we were just pooling all of our communion money. It's, finally, when the right players came, we had the money for them. But speaking of having the money for them, can we talk about Alexander Isak? So now, if reports are to be believed, Liverpool are ready to smash the transfer record again. The second time in the same window, within a month or so. And that they have not put a formal bid in, but they have made an approach to Newcastle about the availability of Alexander Isak. And not only that, but the fucking balls on Liverpool is that they've not only said, so Newcastle have Isak, obviously, they want to keep him. Isak, I think, is very tempted by Liverpool. Newcastle are leading the way to sign this other lad, Ekitike, and Liverpool basically said, give us Isak or we're taking Ekitike off your hands. Fuck, I'm going to pronounce it. Liverpool basically said, pick one, because we're taking one of them. The fucking balls. But it's just mad the speed at which this is all happening. Only yesterday morning I was looking at Mateta from Palace and thinking like, actually, I think he could do a job for us. I don't know if he'd be our main man, but he could do something for us. To cut to a few hours later, I'm refreshing the page to see what's the latest on the Isak stuff. Yeah, and I have to admit, as much of a purist as I've called myself over the years about not getting into the behind the scenes stuff, and I just like the football stuff, which is true, but when there's no football on, anything football related, give me that. Barring the Club World Cup, which is, I mean, don't get me started. Don't even. Actually, you know what? Let me have a little rant about that. The biggest fucking cash grab bollocks. It's like, it's, and all this shite about it rivaling the Champions League. It's like, oh yeah, so you have Napoli, Barca, Liverpool, like all the winners of their leagues? No, but we have Auckland City and Ultra HD or whatever the team was. And then you had that goal at Chelsea to be like, yeah, you know, we've bragging rights over every other club in the world. So, look, I know Liverpool won it in 2019 and we did brag about it. But shut up with this new inflated tournament, cash grab, Infantino with his signature is on that global trophy thing twice. And, I mean, don't get me started on Trump on the stage at the same time. Imagine Liverpool lifting a trophy with Trump on stage at the same time. Get off. Anyway, what a bunch of bollocks that is. But, so I haven't lowered myself to watch that glorified pre-season tournament. So, transfer news is the only way I'm getting my football fixed, to be honest, because right now I'm cold turkey in life, and it's not easy, you know. Turning 40. You know, I've got I've got a big house project going on, loads of building work going on. I've just turned 40. I'm having a third kid in about 5 weeks. I need something to take my mind off life. But anyway, back to actually the matter at hand. Liverpool said to Newcastle, we want Isak. Newcastle have said, he's not for sale. Liverpool are like, yeah, but those are just words though, aren't they? And then you have reports that Luis Diaz wants out now. Where did this come from, Luchito? God, I've been so annoying today, I'm sorry. I'm pumped up because I finally get to make a video after so long. Felt like so long. So Diaz apparently is very, very open to a move. I mean, to Bayern, Barca have made approaches insultingly low by all accounts. So Liverpool were like, yeah, no thanks. Now I will say, like, in comparison to a lot of players, like, Diaz is not earning nearly as much as he should be. I'll say that. And it's kind of at the stage now where he's getting his big contract at Liverpool or he's moving on. So it's kind of at that stage, stick or twist, but I'd be all for keeping him, giving him. I mean, Chiesa earns, I think, double what he makes. It's still silly money, you know, but it's still, you know, yeah, you want players to be what they're worth. But so that stings, I'm not going to lie. We've got a lot of young talent coming through. A lot of quick young talent coming through as well. And I want to finish off a little bit with this narrative that I see, I can smell it a mile away of, like, remember when, you know, Liverpool beat United 7-0 and that was kind of like against the run of form that Liverpool had been on. And then when Liverpool were doing good, United were doing bad. It was like, oh, what are we going to win today, lads? 10-0? Oh, probably. I wouldn't be. And then United fans were getting in on, I wouldn't be surprised if we beat us 5-0. then Liverpool fans falling for it, like, yeah, we probably will and all. Like, it's happening again. It's happening again with transfers. It's like, sign Isak, that's the league. So you're winning the quad. A shoe in for the league, absolutely. You know, even now rival fans getting on, well, that's Liverpool winning the quad. And unless it's an absolute failure. And, you know, Liverpool, of all clubs, know that it's not as simple as you buy a bunch of players and you win a bunch of trophies. Liverpool have been the antithesis of that for many years. Now, if Liverpool can keep doing things the right way and add absolute firepower, then yeah, we should be really good. But I'm not falling into the trap, especially with rival fans doing it and then being like, yeah, we probably will actually. It's not that easy. But one thing that I am confident about is that Liverpool's back room, the structure behind the scenes, seems so rock solid that I really trust all the decisions that they're making. I trust that we'll continue making the right decisions on and off the pitch and just adding better quality players, just doing it the right way rather than like the United way. And then famously Spurs, if you'll pardon the expression, spunked all the bail money on about 7 like journeymen. That haunts me when I see a lot of incomings and outgoings. But those clubs are not set up the way we're set up. United just like, get us a big name, please. Whereas Liverpool don't do that. So I think with our new signings, they will push on. We still have, again, I said it in the last video, Salah and Van Dijk keeping those incredibly high standards. But whatever happens, it's just fun. It's just fun to read. Oh, and a final thing, I see reports today that we were linked with Marcus Rashford. Get to fuck, okay? Get to fuck. Now, then I seen the source was the Daily Mail. I was like, oh, grand, it's bollocks. And now I'm also seeing stuff about Rodrigo at Real Madrid. Now, look, I'm just going to put it out there. If we sell Diaz, it's possibly more likely that we'll go for him. Can I just say something? And I may eat my own words. I don't want him. All right? Yeah, he's good. But he's a Real Madridsman. And he looks like a Real Madridsman. You know? He's the enemy. And I know I've used this analogy before, but it's like someone from the Hawks joining the Mighty Ducks. The infamous Disney classic. I may eat my words, and if we sign him, I will learn to accept it because he's quality. Let's not deny it. But frankly, if I can just be selfish and all that, I don't want you. Okay? Anyway, this was really kind of a vent about all the things that are happening. Nobody in my house will listen to me. You would think, even on my 40th birthday, they could have humoured me for just 2 minutes to talk about Liverpool. But, you know, My wife is heavily pregnant and has no time for any bullshit. So I got you guys. But anyway, look, that's my thoughts on it at the minute. I'm going to try and be a bit more regular. There's a lot happening, so I'll no doubt be back in a day or two to chat more shite about what's going on. But thank you very much for the support. Really appreciate the support on the last couple of vids. They were very different to the usual this style, where it was a bit more raw and to do with Jota and stuff like that. But it seemed to resonate with people, so thank you very much for that. And yeah, if you haven't subbed, please sub. But thank you very much for watching. Up the fucking Reds, and I'll see you in a few days.